I'm Lynn. I work at the Cumberland Library, and I've been doing some cooking things for the library for their virtual programming. We've been doing a lot of virtual programming during the pandemic because we can't really have in-person programming. So we're doing a lot of things online. You can check us out, go to Facebook, check us out there, Cumberland Public Library. And also you can go to YouTube and check out a variety of YouTube videos, not just cooking videos. And that would be Cumberland Public Library on YouTube. So today I am going to make some granola. This is real quick and easy, just something kind of fun to do. And it's a good snack. It's a good treat on yogurt, on ice cream. Lots of things you can do with it. And buying it can be very expensive. And sometimes you're not really sure what's in it. So you can make it yourself and then you know exactly what's in it. So I'm going to get started. Let's talk about the ingredients real quick. The first thing I am going to use is old-fashioned oats. You don't want to use steel cut and you don't want to use instant. Although I'm not an expert on that. I don't know what would happen if you used instant. It probably would be fine. I don't know. I use old-fashioned oats. And I like to put nuts in it. I put walnuts. I put almonds. You can put pistachios, you can put cashews, whatever nuts you like. You can throw flax seeds in there, whatever you want. And to sort of bind it all together, you put something like honey or molasses, or I have a variety of things here. I've used agave nectar, maple syrup works good too if you like a little maple flavor. And so other things you can use to sweeten it up is some brown sugar. And you're going to bind it together also with a little bit of oil, and you want to use an unflavored oil. So not olive oil, not peanut oil, just, canola or vegetable oil. So let's get started. I'll go over the measurements as we go. And I have to I think I can sit. There we go. So we're going to use 5 cups of oats. And this makes kind of a lot. So then it keeps. It's not something that gets stale. So you can make a lot and store it or give some away or whatever. So this is 5 cups of oats. And, rough measurement. Not a big deal if it's a little more. 4 and 5. There's a lot of variations to this recipe. You can, if you like it sweeter, whatever I tell you to add more. You could even probably make it a little bit spicy if you wanted. Maybe throw a little cayenne or something in there. I don't like spicy food, but you can certainly experiment. Once you know sort of what the ratio of like the liquids are to the dry ingredients, you can do whatever you want. And also, when you get to the end, you don't want to bake. If you're going to put fruit, at the end you can put dried cranberries or dried anything, raisins or whatever. You don't want to bake those though, so you want to put that in at the end. All right, so I think I've hit kind of all the variations. Again, use your imagination, put whatever you want in it. So we've got that in there. I'm going to cut up some nuts. You don't want big giant nuts in there, not whole nuts. And I put probably a cup of walnuts, but I got big pieces, so I'm going to want to chop those up. So I'm going to do that. Get that out of the way. Chop that up. I have to stand for this. I don't know why. So give it a little rough chop. Not real, you don't want dust, but you don't want, you might want big giant chunks. Totally up to you. The nuts really enhance it, really make it flavorful. And if you're allergic to nuts, obviously don't add them. And again, like I said, flax seeds. Chia seeds, kind of small for that. I don't know if I would do that. And then, kind of eyeball it. If you put nuts in there and it just doesn't look like a good ratio, you can just throw some more in it. I'm going to throw some almonds in there too. Almonds and walnuts are what I usually put because I always kind of have them on hand. But anything you want, really. Just give those a little rough chop. Get that going. Nothing scientific about it. I like recipes that you can, do what you want with. A lot of times you read a recipe and you think, I have to do it this way, but A lot of the time you don't. There's lots and lots of things you can do, variations that you can do on, pretty much all recipes, substitutes. You just have to learn what those substitutions are. That's pretty much it for the chopping. And I am going to add some brown sugar. I made this for my husband and he likes it sweet, so I use brown sugar and honey. And the last batch I made, I put too much honey and it was like the best batch I ever made, but it was like sticky sweet, but it was really, really good. So, you want to control your sugar. You know what, I'm not going to put a half. It's too crazy. I'll put a quarter. This one is a quarter. Put a quarter cup. There's no rhyme or reason as far as it's what you like, it's what you want. When you get to the wet ingredients though, when you get to the stuff that's going to sort of make it stick together and not be really dry, then you kind of want to be a little bit more careful to put, at least a certain amount so that it doesn't come out real dry and it has some flavor. You want it to, you want it to taste good. So I'm going to put a half a cup. And the other thing you can do too is kind of watch it as you're stirring it and as you're, getting it all mixed in together. If it kind of looks dry, you can just throw some more in. Slow. All right, I've done it with maple syrup. I've done it with agave, which is a little bit waterier. It was fine. It wasn't quite as sweet. Hello, come on. But it was good, it was fine. Maple syrup. I did it with maple syrup. I didn't really taste real mapley. You just got the sweetness. So that was like a lump. And I should have put the oil in first because then it would have let the honey slip out, but whatever. So oil, half a cup. The ratio is typically half a cup of honey or whatever liquid sweetness and then half a cup of oil. But that's kind of the basis. Again, I wouldn't add more oil, but if you wanted to add more honey, you certainly could. Whoa, that came out fast. Okay. That's kind of it. Let's let the rest of the honey come out of there. And that should be good. Okay. I am going to throw in some cinnamon. So I'm doing my, being real precise here. That's maybe a half a tablespoon. That's not cover. Okay, I'm going to mix that up. Get it all incorporated. And I already know, to me, it looks a little dry. But I'm going to put probably a little bit more honey in there. Just, I don't know, maybe it's okay. Just see I'm going to get clumps, excuse me, and get it all just sort of mashed together there so everything's coated. On oatmeal too. I really like it on oatmeal if you like a little bit of texture in your oatmeal. I don't add fruit to mine because he doesn't want me to, but and then that way too, whoa, he could always add it if he wanted because you add it at the end. You don't add it before you bake it, so you can always throw some in later if you want. And that adds obviously some more sweetness too. That looks pretty good. It looks pretty well incorporated. It's not going to be, clumpy. You're not going to have big clumps. It's not going to come together like a cookie dough. It'll still be, pretty separate. But you can tell that pretty much everything is mixed. Kind of turn it, check the bottom, make sure that it all got incorporated there. So let me grab my cookie sheet. I preheated my oven to 350, and I'm going to do it at 325. 350 is fine. Kind of like your standard baking temperature. And I use a cookie sheet lined with parchment. If you don't have parchment, you could use tinfoil or a Silpat if you have one. I'm gonna spray it though, even though You think, well, you've got parchment, you don't need to, but you really do, because it's super sticky. So you want to give it a good spray, and then we're just gonna dump it on here. Sorry for the bottom of the bowl there. And I just use my hands to kind of just spread it out, get it sort of in an even layer. Nothing fussy. Get it in the corners, get it in an even layer. And I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and when I'm all done and it comes out, first of all, it's gonna be 15 minutes or so, but kind of watch it. You'll start to see it get a little bit browner on the edges, and you'll start to smell it, and that's kind of really how you know that it's done. And you can see it gets a little bit golden brown. So I'm gonna pop it in there, and I'll be right back. I'm back. I can smell it. It smells really good, and the timer just went off, so I'm gonna go grab that out of the oven. It's too bad you couldn't smell it. There she is. You can see it got golden brown. It's a little bit browner on the edges. And, you know, dark brown around the edges is okay. Black is not okay. But there it is. It's all done. It smells fantastic. And I like to throw a little salt, a little sea salt, a little finishing salt over the top. You get that little salty bite with the sweetness. I think everybody likes that. If you don't, leave it off. You can add the salt like a little bit, like maybe a teaspoon or half a teaspoon of salt when you're mixing it, but I don't know, I like to throw it over the top. And if you do it when it's warm, it'll kind of stick and stay in there instead of just sort of rolling off. So that's pretty much it. That is homemade granola. When it cools down, it's really, really hot right now, but I kind of just crunch it up with my hands, and I put it in a jar. You can put it in a plastic bag, a Tupperware container, whatever, and munch on it for a while. It's quite a bit. Well, you'll see, I mean, you probably need a couple containers because it really makes a lot. That was 5 cups of oats. It was a half a cup of oil, a half a cup of honey, a quarter cup of brown sugar, and about a tablespoon-ish or a little less of cinnamon, and walnuts, and whatever nuts you want. I put walnuts and almonds, as you saw, and it's all done. And it's very warm in here right now, so it smells good, and I'm going to let it cool down, put it in a jar. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to be doing some more cooking. There's some other cooking videos as well as other library videos on YouTube. Check us out. Thanks.